Let's go. In the beginning of 2021, the world of CS was hit with the shocking news of longtime Danish organization North pulling out of the game, leaving two of their longest standing members Gade and AZ without a team. The news came at a time coinciding with the benchings of Kjaerbye and Borup from FaZe and Heroic respectively, and the trio of ex-North players teamed up and formed a new team together with Borup and young up-and-comer Fessor, previously of Blue Jays. The team have used several names so far, but are most well known as Hyenas. Since their forming, they have very rarely appeared in events, and despite having 4 well-known and beloved players at an elite level, many people have yet to see them play. Ahead of the Flashpoint 3 RMR, where they are scheduled to attend, I decided to take a look at one of their demos so far, and provide a bit of a preview of what you can expect going into this event. Right after this premiere goes live, I will be going live on Twitch for a bit of a post-show discussion time, and in the description you will find an invite link to the Lagoon Discord where I will be in open voice chat to discuss the video with you live on the air. Feel free to pop in and have a chat. Finally, if you enjoy this type of content, subscribe as there is more coming through the pipeline, and of course like the video. Now, let's get into the demo. Now to start us off, I wanted to have a look at arguably the most exciting piece of this team, the youngest major MVP of all time, Kjaerbye. Kjaerbye is commonly known as an aggressive rifler, and looking at his role in this team, there's not much else that's new. In this game of the Open qualifiers for IEM Summer 2021 vs Mad Lions, Kjaerbye is often seen playing around the apartments of Mirage and playing into the B site with Borup. In this particular round, Hyenas are running an A fake into a B contact play, with Kjaerbye and Borup leading the charge into the B site and cracking open the site for the team. Firstly, this is precisely the role I expect to see him in all the time, following Borup in these aggressive plays to find openings to give his team an opportunity in the round. Secondly, this round is a good illustration of where Kjaerbye will find the most impact, arguably being the most mechanically skilled player on the team, bringing home the round win with a well executed 1 vs 4 clutch. Looking at the following round, we see Hyenas in a pure A execute from spawn, and I specifically want to take a look at this team's main opper, AZ. Yes, you heard me right, the world's most handsome entry fragger has picked up the big green for the first time in his career and will try to find some impact. However, here's where things fall apart a bit for me. As you can see in this round, AZ and the op in his hands is not being used in the front of the push as you'll often see from strong teams in the 2021 meta. Rather, its use is more of a supportive element from afar. In this particular round, AZ barely even spots an enemy and is instead resigned to holding the rear flank even before the bomb has even gone down. While we have seen passive operators finding success recently, Fallen in Liquid for example, I believe not being able to counter the impact of the stronger operators on the Mad Lions team was the downfall for Hyenas in this game, and could be a general weakness for them in the future. He finds more impact on the CT side, but his T-side opping will definitely be a question mark for me in the future. Borup finds himself in a role he's not previously been seen in as often, as he's now playing more of a hard entry role on this team rather than the more supportive role he filled on Heroic. Despite this, I believe he's doing what's needed. In this round we see him confidently leading the charge into the A site together with Kjaerbye and finding 4 frags on the entry to secure the A site for his team. Borup has always been a player with some of the best mechanical skill in the scene and is sporting one of the highest headshot percentages on HLTV, but has never really been in a role that allowed him to flex these muscles. It's not much to take away from this initial showing, but I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do in this new role to help his team break into the scene. Fessor is the one unknown quantity on this team and a player we haven't really seen before. At only 20 years of age, this is his first attempt at Tier 1 CS, and Hyenas have placed him in some sort of a middleman role, someone you would describe as a bit of a closer or a trade fragger. He's already showing an impressive level of play, leading me to believe he could become one of the best players on this team if he can stay on that level, finding multi-kills and taking initiative on the map. However, until we see him versus elite level players, that will still be a big if. Nevertheless, still an impressive start. Finally, I want to touch on one of the bigger surprises, for me at least, on this team, in-game leader Gade. Gade is a player who's never really impressed me previously in his career, neither as an in-game leader nor a CSGO player. However, already is showing promise in both of these aspects. In this round, Hyenas are running a well-executed B-split play, which really shows the level of cohesion Gade has already brought to the team despite only having been together for a short while, and all this without a coach or other staff supporting him. In this game he's also showing promise in the fragging department, having undergone a minor role change to play more of a lurky support role, and it seems to suit him very well. We can see an example of this by going back to round 8, where in the B rush, Gade is initially taking mid presence to keep the CTs on their toes, while then rotating in to hold off any potential underpush from the CTs, which nets him a frag. This is a bit of a transition from his previous roles, where he was commonly playing more with the push, but it's a role change that seems to suit him pretty well. Just as a bit of a side note to round out this piece on Gade, look at what he's doing in spawn. This is a pretty good example of just how good the aim of these professionals are. Gade flicking between different points and the textures around him so quickly it's hard to follow along. It's just a little piece of trivia that I found interesting. To finish the video off, I wanted to take a look at their CT side, as it was hard to find any particular strengths or weaknesses in their CT half. For context, Mad Lions are a team built out of young FPL players, and it's evident in this game that a lot of rounds are lost for Hyenas through no fault of their own, rather just because they lose fights versus these insanely skilled young players. Borup is one of the best players currently in the European FPL, and you see him several times getting away with unfavorable fights that eventually lead to the downfall of Hyenas in this half, and Saucel and Tudson also chime in with similar strokes of brilliance that eventually win them the game. Well, it's easy to explain this away as Hyenas just getting unlucky, which is true to some extent. If they can't keep up in fights like these, they will inevitably struggle versus some of the mid-tier opposition they will be facing. Teams like Mad Lions, Sinners and Sangul often rely more on individual prowess than on pure tactics, and maybe a natural counter to Hyenas unless they somehow found a way to negate that. Nevertheless, Hyenas are definitely going to be an interesting team to see in the next couple of months. And that brings us to the end of this preview of the Hyenas team, a possible contender for being one of the better Danish teams after Astralis and Heroic. I think it's safe to conclude that all pieces definitely show some potential for the future, with Fessor and Borup set to have very interesting trajectories, while the impact found by AZ on the main op could be one of their bigger weaknesses. With that, I really hope you enjoyed this first look at Hyenas and the first taste of some of the content I have in mind for the future. As this premiere ends, I will be in an open voice channel in the Lagoon Discord server linked in the description below, and we'll be going live on Twitch for a post show where we can discuss the video, team and players in more detail. Feel free to hop in for a chat if you like. Thank you guys for watching. If you really enjoyed this video, liking the video and subscribing to the channel would be greatly appreciated. I've been Quack and I'll catch you later.
Bing bing bang. Bing bing bang and a boom and a bonk and a think with a think tank. Yeah, hey, bang and a think tank, bang and you're going to